27. We are 27, and by the time you guys see this, 26 nights away from WrestleMania. And that was the Monday Night Raw we get. This is the final 4 weeks till WrestleMania, and we don't even have a full card built yet. We have 3 matches now, 2 matches before this show started for the entirety of WrestleMania. Tonight we got a 3rd match, which was obviously coming. We've known it for about 2 weeks now that it was going to happen. But other than that, we don't have any new matches for WrestleMania. We have a new Intercontinental Champion, which is absolutely ridiculous. The fact that they put the title back on this guy, not even a month after losing it. No reason why, but they did it anyway. This show was an absolute train wreck. WWE, honestly, I swear, I've been watching Raw and SmackDown for the last 2.5 months since Royal Rumble, and it just feels like Vince Russo is backstage or back in Titan Towers feeding Vince McMahon, telling Vince McMahon how to book these shows. Monday Night Raw has been feeling like Vince Russo up and down, left and right, all the time. It just, and like Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez have said, it feels like WCW. It feels like WCW, not in the heyday when they were doing at the highest peak. It feels like WCW 1999 to 2001. This show is getting awful. This show is just getting worse and worse and worse. You have some of the most talented superstars on your fucking roster, and you can't get me great quality TV. It's not even fucking, it's just ridiculous that we keep going week after week after week, and it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Yeah, the ratings was, they had the best ratings in the last 5 months because Roman came back. Yeah, the first hour, but after that, no. That's going to dissipate again over in time. Tonight's show gave us a quote-unquote farewell to the Shield, which I don't know what we're doing here. This show also had the announcement of Kurt Angle saying that at WrestleMania he will be saying farewell to his England career for once and for all until Vince McMahon needs him to wrestle again. As we know, wrestling, people don't stay retired in professional wrestling until they get too old to actually wrestle. Shawn Michaels was the first person in a long while to actually stick to that until the right amount of money came in and he came back out of retirement for one match. Kurt Angle, I don't want to see wrestle again at all. And the fact that they've had him wrestle over and over and over and over and over again since Survivor Series, really, it's just ridiculous. He's wrestled Drew. The Drew McIntyre match where he lost to the ankle lock was a perfect way to send him out. It put Drew over, and it was a good way to end the story, the Kurt Angle tale in WWE. But no, they took that away, and they had him face off against Baron Corbin a couple times, losing a couple times. And then tonight, he wrestled Apollo Crews in his final match in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, because they were in his hometown. This show, when AEW gets started, and I'm going to say this now, if AEW gets the TV deal and they go to Tuesday night in October, they are going to have it. They don't people are they're not going to compete against WWE. You know how you compete against WWE? You listen to the fans. You don't insult people's intelligence. Here's the thing. If NXT was on network TV, if NXT was not just tied to the WWE network, if it was on a USA network, if it was on a TNT, TBS, CBS, USA, Sci-Fi, any other channel that is on any cable television right now, and it was still run the way Triple H runs it, I guarantee it would pull in the best ratings for the 1 hour it has. Its 1 hour's ratings would probably beat Raw, SmackDown, any hour on Raw and any hour on SmackDown on a weekly basis, just because it is what we want as professional wrestling. If you were to give me a tenth of what you see on NXT on Monday Night Raw, then Monday Night Raw would be way better off than it is. Right now, it just feels like Vince Russo is in Vince McMahon's ear again, and Vince Russo is booking these shows. That's how bad this looks. We started the show off with a Shield farewell speech, or a Roman saying farewell for the Shield, because Roman was the only one to talk for this entire promo. This was a Shield farewell. Why the fuck was it only Roman talking and not Roman, Dean, and Seth saying their piece? It made no sense. Reigns said he learned tomorrow is not promised, and last night it was the last fight of the Shield, then he has no regrets. So yeah, we get more life lessons for Roman Reigns. Because this is not something that people should know already. It was absolutely no reason for this. He goes on and says he will be forever grateful for Ambrose and Rollins coming through when he had a favorite last week. Reigns says, but we were on the road to WrestleMania, and if there were 3 men he needed to handle the business, it was them. Roman says he hasn't had a singles match on Raw in over 5 months, and that continues on. So he was hoping that could be corrected tonight in Pittsburgh. Fans, of course, pop for this. Reigns says Ambrose has some business too. He doesn't necessarily know what it is, and Ambrose probably doesn't either. That's why they love him. Reigns wishes Ambrose good luck. Reigns says the man who has some real business is Rollins as he faces Universal Champion Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Fans chant Slay the Beast, and Reigns says that's exactly what Rollins is going to do. Reigns goes on and praises Rollins some more, and then says the fans are going to be chanting Burn It Down. They hug. The Shield does their signature fist bump in the middle of the ring, and the music starts up. So we hear nothing from Dean Ambrose. We hear nothing from Seth Rollins on their thoughts of the Shield, and this being the last ride of the Shield. We just hear from Roman Reigns, and I think that's kind of disrespectful to both Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. Yes, we hear from Seth Rollins after the whole Shield thing's over about his match at WrestleMania. But if you're going to do a Shield farewell promo like they did here, all 3 members should have said their piece, in my opinion. It just makes no sense why you had Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose just sit there while Roman Reigns talked about it. I mean, come on. Let's see. Ambrose and Reigns leave the ring, and Rollins takes the mic. He says the Shield burned it down at Fastlane last night. Rollins is interrupted by Paul Heyman, who comes to the stage with the mic. Heyman does his usual introduction. Rollins points to how Lesnar had his troubles with AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, and Intercontinental at the time, Finn Balor. Rollins seems like Lesnar has trouble with guys who are like Rollins' size. Rollins gives all credit to Styles, Bryan, and Balor, but says there's just one man who can beat Lesnar at WrestleMania. Rollins says Heyman has just 3 weeks before that he beats Lesnar and brings the title back to Raw. Every single week, a Slay the Beast chant starts back up. Heyman says Lesnar didn't have time to prepare for the other opponents because at Survivor Series 2017, it was supposed to be Jinder Mahal. Thank God that match didn't happen. And then, of course, the week before Survivor Series, AJ Styles won the match. A year later, AJ Styles was supposed to be the one to face off against Brock Lesnar again, and Daniel Bryan won it a week before SummerSlam. Then a couple of weeks before Royal Rumble, it was supposed to be Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar. Braun Strowman got taken out of that, and then was inserted Finn Balor. Heyman goes on making excuses for Lesnar. Heyman leads us to a video package that shows how dominant Lesnar is. Heyman says, ever since Rollins won the Royal Rumble, Lesnar has had these fantasies of what he's going to do to Rollins at WrestleMania. Heyman says Rollins thinks he knows Lesnar, but he has no idea. All of a sudden, and I don't know why this happened at the time, but it makes sense, SmackDown superstar Shelton Benjamin rushes the ring from behind and delivers 2 German suplexes to Rollins. Then a third, Benjamin stands tall over Rollins as his music hits. We go to commercial break. Why does this make sense? One is before we say, is Shelton Benjamin on Monday Night Raw now? Was this a one-time thing? Never explained on commentary. Never explained. The only thing that was mentioned in reference to SmackDown is when Corey Graves mentioned that Shelton Benjamin is looking for a chance to get an opportunity in WWE. He hasn't had much luck over on SmackDown Live, especially after they sent Chad Gable to Raw in that last year, because him and Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin were a tag team. And then they broke that up for whatever reason, which I find it ironic that they broke up Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable, brought Chad Gable to Raw, and then just to make him a singles wrestler. And then 6 months later, he's in a tag team and winning the Raw Tag Team Championships with a Bobby Roode. So, yeah. Seth Rollins versus Shelton Benjamin. This was a good match. Shelton Benjamin and Seth Rollins are 2 of the best to ever lace it up in WWE. Definitely one of those matches that, probably was the best match of the night, just saying that. Coming down to the end of this, Rollins continues fighting Benjamin off. Heyman reveals Lesnar will be on Raw next week, as he was on commentary, and halfway through the match, he gets a phone call from Brock Lesnar, I guess, even though apparently Brock Lesnar doesn't have a cell phone, so he had to walk all the way. He doesn't have a cell phone or a house phone. He had to drive all the way out to a payphone that's down the hill from his house just to call Paul Heyman. So, yeah. Rollins with more offense and shot from the top rope for a 2 count. Benjamin comes back and hits a German to Rollins. Benjamin looks to go for the F5, but Rollins slides out and kicks him. Rollins comes back and hits the stomp for the 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins is your winner. After the match, Heyman looks on from commentary as Rollins recovers with his music hits. Then it was announced before the show Baron Corbin versus Roman Reigns is going to happen tonight, or at the beginning of the show. And I'm thinking, 1, please don't make this the main event match, and 2, if this is happening tonight, then we're not going to see it at WrestleMania, and that leaves Roman Reigns up for somebody else at WrestleMania. More on that later. And as well, we'll have a face-off between Batista and Triple H later on. Bobby Lashley versus Finn Balor for the Intercontinental title. This was announced last night at Fastlane. Why this match is happening, fuck, no one knows. But this match should have had a different winner, and I'm pissed as fuck that this happened. The Intercontinental title and Bobby and Finn Balor are absolutely buried. Unless we're getting Demon Balor at WrestleMania to take the title back from Bobby Lashley, I don't want to see the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. It is absolutely irrelevant. It's kind of funny because the 3 men's championships at this time on Monday Night Raw are 3 of the most worthless championships in WWE. The Universal title is worthless. The tag team championships are worthless because there's almost no tag teams. You had to throw Aleister Black and Ricochet together because, 1, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa aren't up here anymore because Tommaso Ciampa is injured. But before that, you had no fucking teams. You had the Glorious Ones and the Revival, and that was that. AOP's out because one of them, I think it's Akam, is injured. All the other tag teams are irrelevant. So, yeah, that title is irrelevant. And the Intercontinental title is irrelevant. Bobby Lashley should have stayed in Impact Wrestling. I don't give a fuck how much Vince McMahon opened his pocket to get you. You should have stayed in Impact Wrestling where you were used correctly. Where you were used to your best potential. There's a reason why he was a main eventer in Impact Wrestling, but he is nowhere close to that here because he can't cut it in WWE. Bobby, ask for your release and go back to where you belong, Impact Wrestling. Plain and simple. Lashley scoops Balor again and launches him into the top turnbuckle. Balor comes back with a sling blade. Balor drop kicks Lashley back into the corner. Lashley finally goes back down. Balor goes to the top rope for the coup de grace, but someone starts ringing the bell ringside, and we see it's Leo Rush. Rush grabs the title and distracts Balor, telling him, "You don't deserve this. You don't deserve this." Lashley tries to take advantage, but Balor rocks him. Balor takes out Lashley and springboards in, but Lashley knocks him out in the air with a big spear, and we have a new Intercontinental Champion. After the match, Lashley is all smiles as he takes the title and celebrates as the music hits. Rush hits the ring and celebrates for the champ as we go to replays. Absolutely pathetic. There's a reason Bobby Lashley quit WWE back in the day, about 12 years ago, and there's a reason Bobby Lashley was gone for all that time. Bobby Lashley is a mid-card player. He is a lower mid-card player. The guy is awful in the ring. He can't handle he is not good enough to be in WWE. This guy needs to be released. This guy needs to go the fuck away. And Finn Balor is buried again. Unless we're getting Demon Balor coming to WrestleMania to win the Intercontinental title somehow, I don't know what you do with Finn Balor. And I honestly don't care what they do with the Intercontinental Championship. Finn Balor is buried. Vince McMahon's like, hey, we gave him the Intercontinental title. Why are you people not happy? Why are you people upset? He was Intercontinental Champion. Why the fuck would you take the title off of Finn Balor? What sense does it make to have Bobby Lashley your Intercontinental Champion? Someone tell me in the comment section why Bobby Lashley should be Intercontinental Champion. The title is irrelevant. You're hot-shotting it back and forth, hot potato. If Bobby Lashley loses the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania to Finn Balor, then what was the fucking point of having him lose it, to win it back, to lose it again in that short a time? The hot-shotting a title, this is what happened with the Raw Women's Championship when the brand split first started. Charlotte was the champion when it had started. Sasha won it. Charlotte won it. Sasha won it. Charlotte won it. Sasha won it. Charlotte won it. Bayley won it. And then Alexa Bliss won it. Hot-shotting the title does not help a championship have its credibility. That destroys credibility. Having the title on a Bobby Lashley just destroys any credibility left in the WWE champion, in the Intercontinental title. The Intercontinental Championship is meant to be for the workhorses of the business. Your Shawn Michaels, your Bret Hart, your Roddy Pipers, your British Bulldog when he's not, when he wasn't jacked up, your Rocks, your Austins, your Triple H's on their way up. That is what this title is meant for. Seth Rollins was the best Intercontinental Champion in the last 5 years until they ruined it. You had a Dolph Ziggler fighting for his career in 2016 for the Intercontinental title. One of the best times of the Intercontinental title was that feud between him and The Miz. Bobby Lashley does nothing but destroy. Bobby Lashley is to the Intercontinental title what Jinder Mahal was to the WWE Championship. I said it. I might be the only one to say it, but I said it. Just saying. Still to come, Alexa Bliss will reveal a WrestleMania 35 host in her Moment of Bliss segment. Who cares? Backstage, Carly Caruso was banned on Corbin. She brings up the negative comments Corbin made about Roman Reigns after he took time off back in October. And then they show that replay to refresh his memory. Corbin knocks Reigns and says he won't have his friends tonight and he's not 100%, which means he will be exposed in their match. Corbin says he's been carrying Raw ever since Reigns left. Yeah, you've been carrying it straight to the grave, man. Straight to the grave. Fuck off, Corbin. And tonight he will house train the big dog. We see Ronda Rousey in the back walking, and she will address her actions from Fastlane. Back from commercial break after that. Back from break, and out comes the Raw Women's Champion, Ronda Rousey, marches into the ring. We get a video package showing what happened at the finish of last night's match. Rousey says fans can take their applauses and shove it. She calls everyone bandwagon bitches and blasts the fans for supporting Becky. She calls them cowards just like Becky. Rousey goes on and says she's fired up. She says there's no safety barrier for Flair and Lynch. She said you guys might be booing me, but you would cower in fear in front of me if it wasn't for the barrier and if you weren't hiding behind a crowd and behind a barrier. Rousey said that she interfered at Fastlane so she can make sure she can embarrass them, both of them, and WWE as the carny sideshow it has always been. Rousey says she will walk through them both and leave WrestleMania with the title, and no one can stop her. Rousey gives WWE permission to make this a handicap match. She says she'd be embarrassed to break a sweat. Rousey says Becky is a joke, Flair is a joke, and everyone believes this crap is a joke. She drops the mic, but out comes, for whatever fucking reason, Dana Brooke. Now, before we get into this shit, I like the fact that Ronda Rousey is being more true to herself, but you need to slow your roll on the fucking breaking kayfabe so much. You need to stop having Ronda Rousey break kayfabe as much as she has. It's just getting a little bit too much. You didn't need all this. You didn't need all this for this match. This should be the hardest match and the hardest feud going into WrestleMania. And it was until Vince McMahon came out, pulled Becky out, it was until Stephanie McMahon opened her damn mouth and was like, well, Becky, you don't want to go see the doctor, so you're suspended. As soon as they did that, this entire feud storyline for the Raw Women's Championship has started spiraling out of control. And it's absolutely ridiculous. Becky winning at WrestleMania is the only thing that can save this. If Charlotte ends up winning this one way or another, that's going to just destroy everything that they've worked for. This is bad. This feud is just getting worse and worse by the weeks. Dana wants the White Knight for the entire WWE universe. I don't know fucking why. She says we've heard enough of Rousey's venom tonight. Dana says she has nothing to lose and she's not going to let Rousey disrespect WWE or the WWE universe. Or the women's locker room. Time out for a second. Wasn't Dana Brooke beating up on Sasha Banks and Bayley a couple months ago when Alexa Bliss was in charge of the women's division and she was doing that open forum for Bayley and Sasha Banks? And in that first episode, didn't Alicia Fox, Mickie James, and Dana Brooke as heels come down and attack those two? Now she's all of a sudden a babyface? Wow. Dana goes on about how she fights for the chance but doesn't even get a match each week. Dana says she may not be on TV and she may not be a household name like Rousey, but all she wants is just the chance. Dana brings up how Rousey usually issues an open challenge. Dana introduces herself and says she accepts. Okay, yeah, Rousey immediately floors Dana with a huge kick. Rousey takes her to the outside and starts tossing her around by her arm. Rousey ragdolls Dana back into the ring, drops her with a Piper's Pit. Referees hit the ring as Rousey teases his armbar, but she says pay her $60 and she will show us one. She does realize the WWE Network is only $9.99. If you're still paying $60 to watch a pay-per-view, I don't know what to tell you. Rousey takes the title and marches to the back as referees check on Dana. Renee hypes the Flair versus Lynch versus Rousey match for WrestleMania 35 as they go to some replays. This was good and this was bad. Dana Brooke is irrelevant as fuck, so her beating up on Dana Brooke means nothing. I don't get... It's like, yeah, Dana, you wanted your chance to be on TV. There you go. You got your ass kicked by Ronda Rousey. Congratulations. Now go back to catering and eat your cheesecake. Why? I know they want Rousey to be more of herself, how she really is. But you're someone who comes out here and said that you were a lifelong WWE fan. I guess it works having her break kayfabe as much, but it just doesn't sit right with me. I think they go a little bit too far with the whole breaking kayfabe shit. You don't need to break kayfabe every single time you open your mouth. I'm sorry, it's just a little bit too much, and I love the intensity. I love this Ronda Rousey that we should have had since day fucking one. The whole smiling and waving and happy to be here, Ronda Rousey. Oh, I'm flushed with emotion, with excitement to be here. I fucking hated it. It wasn't believable. This is the Ronda Rousey that everyone needs to get behind. Should have gotten behind and had from day one. She's here to elevate WWE. She doesn't give a fuck about the fans. This is the Ronda that should have been here since she was facing off against Stephanie. That is that. But again, I don't get why unless Dana Brooke's on her way out and they're just going to release Dana Brooke because she brings absolutely nothing to WWE, and this was just publicly firing her. I don't know what the point of that was. It was unnecessary. The promo was great. The promo was fine, except for a couple of things of breaking kayfabe and saying anybody who thinks this is real. What was it? Let's see. Says. Anyone who believes in this crap as a joke was just, I think that was not necessary. But the beatdown of Dana Brooke coming out, trying to wait night for WWE when she's been irrelevant for years. Dana Brooke has not been relevant since she was in NXT as Emma's bodyguard. As Emma's, bodyguard. She hasn't been relevant since then. But, that, like I said, unnecessary. The entire beatdown was unnecessary. And we move on. Aleister Black versus Ricochet Aleister Black and Ricochet versus Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. The glorious ones. This was a good match. Definitely wish it could have won another 5-10 minutes. Definitely. These guys have good chemistry with each other. It was good. I just wish it could have went longer. But I still want the explanation of why Aleister Black and Ricochet are all of a sudden a tag team. I mean, they did the Dusty Road Tag Team Classic. That was making sense why they did it, because they were both trying to fend off the Undisputed Era. But the only reason I feel that they're a tag team anyway is because DIY is not around. They can't do DIY anymore. And Johnny Gargano looks to be back in NXT and not on the main roster, which for him, one, is a good thing and sucks for him because you get called up to the main roster. That's what everybody, even though I don't think everyone should, that's what everybody wants to do. They want to perform on Raw. They want to perform on SmackDown. They want to be at the Wrestlemanias. And because of Vince McMahon's carelessness and Tommaso Ciampa getting injured, that was the end of Johnny Gargano right now. Gargano has to win the NXT Championship, and I'll talk about this a little bit more on NXT this week. And I thought about this earlier today, and I'll talk about it later on that day. But it looks like Aleister Black and Ricochet, which is fine because I feel they're the only two who should be coming up anyway. They really have nothing else to do. I never thought Ricochet was actually going to win the NXT Championship. The North American Championship for him was the best I think he was going to get, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, good match between these two teams. I wish I could see more between these guys, which we probably will. I have a feeling we're probably going to see another tag team match for the Raw titles at WrestleMania between the Revival and probably Ricochet and Aleister Black. Maybe the Glorious Ones will be there too. Maybe. I'm not sure. This match was all over the place. You really can't get much into it. Ricochet with a big shoulder to Rude in the corner. Ricochet goes to the top and Gable tags in. Ricochet keeps control, but Rude and Gable hit a blockbuster into a German suplex. Damn good fucking maneuver for a 2 count. Ricochet fights off a double team. Gable lands on his feet from the top rope. Ricochet misses in the corner, but he comes back and hits a lariat on Gable. More back and forth between the two teams. Ricochet counters the Glorious DDT, and they trade pin attempts. Black tags in and nails a kick to Rude's head. Ricochet drops Rude with the GTS variant, which is it's the rolling Death Valley driver, not a GTS variant. I think it's something like a GTS. The double team continues a move as Black nails him with the Black Mass. Black covers for the 1, 2, 3. Aleister Black and Ricochet are your winners. Hell of a match. Black Mass, in my opinion, is the second best out of nowhere maneuver, and it's like people say Black Mass is going to be the next RKO. It will be, but it will not be as big as the RKO, because the RKO you can literally hit out of nowhere, but the Black Mass, it's like Black Mass. It's going to be one of those ones in a match you can hit people out of nowhere, but it's just not going to feel the same as you would see for an RKO. Just going to put that there. After the match, Black and Ricochet celebrate as Black's music hits. We go to replays. Cole says WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle is here tonight as he wants to address his future. We see Ricochet and Black stomp on the ramp to look back at the ring, which, as we know in WWE recently, if you stomp on the ramp and look back at the ring, usually you're going to get attacked from behind. Just ask Johnny Gargano. Twice. 3 times almost. Raw Tag Team Champions, the Revival, suddenly attack from behind, lay Black and Ricochet out. Rude and Gable look on from the ramp as the Revival back away from Black and Ricochet. So we're probably getting a tag team match between those guys for the titles at WrestleMania. I have no idea. If that's the case, that's huge for Aleister Black and Ricochet. And that would actually be the first time... Yeah, I think that'd be the first time that NXT superstars were on the WrestleMania main card, because Hideo Itami and Baron Corbin were on the pre-show when they were in the Battle Royals, respectively. Would I want to see Ricochet and Aleister Black win the Raw Tag Team titles? Not really, because I see them better as single stars. I still don't get where the explanation of them being a tag team. They don't even have a name. It's just Ricochet and Aleister Black, and they come out in their own entrances. It just feels like Ricochet and Aleister Black are great on their own. They just feel like a makeshift team right now. Yes, they're winning because you're not going to put these guys down yet until they have to face Roman Reigns, and then one spear and they're done. But that's not here nor there. It just feels so pushed, thrown together. I mean, hell, Bobby Roode and Chad Gable for a while looked like a thrown together team, but they have matching gear, matching robes. They look like an actual tag team now. What's going to happen with Ricochet and Aleister Black? I don't want them to really be a tag team anymore. I want them to go off and do their own thing. One could go to Raw, stay on Raw. One could stay on SmackDown. WWE needs to make up their mind. Time for the Bliss segment. Bliss welcomes us, and she talks about who's going to be the host of WrestleMania. I'll give you 3 guesses who it is. Yep, it's Alexa Bliss. Who cares? And I'm going to be brutally honest. If you let Alexa Bliss not be the condescending bitch she can, the all about her bitch that she can be, Alexa Bliss has good mic skills. If she was not able to wrestle anymore, maybe she's not able to wrestle anymore, take Renee Young off of commentary and put Alexa Bliss there. Or put Alexa Bliss on SmackDown and remove Corey Graves, because I don't think Corey Graves should be on both shows. I think Alexa Bliss, if it came down to it, but she couldn't wrestle anymore, I think she could be a great, because they want to use her. They want to keep her on TV. Put her on commentary. I think she would do better than Renee Young. people was like, I guess Renee Young's trying to get Paige to be on the commentary booth. No. I'd say Alexa Bliss. I'm just saying. I don't even want to talk about the Michael Che, Colin Jost stuff. That was just a bunch of stupid shit. We do have Braun Strowman, he was asked about from Charlie Caruso, his running with Che and Jost. Strowman says they better stay away from him at WrestleMania because he enjoyed jacking the guy up by his neck. A staffer, a goon, a scrub appears and tells Strowman that his car has arrived. Strowman wonders, what car? We come back from commercial break, and the staffer is out with Braun Strowman with a red sports car, which is wrapped in a red bow. The staffer reads a letter that came with the car. The letter says, this is a gift from Colin Jost and the others from SNL. They hope Braun will treat this better than Vince McMahon's limousine because there's no more titles to screw him out of. Jost says he will see Braun at WrestleMania. Braun says he wants to see what the car is made of. He loses his cool and isn't happy that Jost is trying to buy his friendship with the car. Plus, he can't even fit in the car. This car was a piece of shit. It looked like a cool car, but this car was a piece of shit. He tore this car apart like it was made out of fucking Legos. Braun Strowman is a comedy act, and that's all there is to it, and it's not even fun comedy. Hey, let's have these SNL comedians buy him a really small car, and then let's have Braun Strowman get pissed off and tear it apart like a little... It's ridiculous. Braun Strowman's not going to have a match at WrestleMania. Braun Strowman's going to have comedy skits with these two nobodies from Saturday Night Live. Who the fuck watches Saturday Night Live anymore? If it's not from the golden era of Saturday Night Live, why the fuck even watch it? It's just trash nowadays. I mean, I'm a fan of Kenan Thompson from his All That days, but that's about it. Fuck the rest of it. Saturday Night Live is trash. He did say it will be live from New York and they will get these hands, and it sounds like he's teasing maybe he'll show up on Saturday Night Live. I don't think so, but we'll see. Out in the ring, we have Elias, and fans give him a bit of a hometown pop because he is from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's three guys on this show who are from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania: Kurt Angle, Elias, and Corey Graves. Elias mentions being back in his hometown at the Star. Elias talks about how it's a miracle, he's a success, because most people born in Pittsburgh are losers. He goes on taking shots at the people of his hometown. The music interrupts Elias, and out comes No Way Jose with his new green and yellow hairdo. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. Maybe he did get tips from Naomi. I have no idea. This was just, Elias beats the living piss out of him, hits him with a drifter wire on the metal grate of the ramp, and that was that. Cole leads us into a 2019 Hall of Fame package for the 10-time WCW Tag Team Champions, Harlem Heat, the greatest tag team in WCW history. Don't at me, motherfuckers. I am stoked for that. I mean, I grew up watching wrestling in WCW, and I didn't really get to see much of Harlem Heat, but I did get to see Booker T and Stevie Ray. I think they did win the WCW Tag Team titles a couple more times. I remember the Harlem Heat, the explosion of Harlem Heat, in which Booker T and Stevie Ray feuded, and then out came Big T, which was, of course, Ahmed Johnson in WWF, who, I believe it was Booker T and Big T had to have a match, and if Booker T lost, he couldn't use T anymore, so he was just Booker. But Booker T, of course, was the better of the two, or the bigger star of the two, because pretty much after the entire implosion of Harlem Heat, Booker T went on to have a great singles run, and Stevie Ray really didn't do much. I'm pretty sure he did get suffer a major back injury that cost him the rest of his time in WCW. He was a commentator for a good bit. So, congratulations to Booker T, a two-time WWE Hall of Famer, and Stevie Ray, which I think they should have a wing for WCW guys who only appeared in WCW, and I'm saying Harlem Heat should be in the WCW wing because Harlem Heat, Booker T, and Stevie Ray, and they should have, I'm sorry, I don't know if is Sherry Martel still alive? I don't remember. If she is, I would have her. I'm sure they're going to talk about her because Booker T and Stevie Ray's original run is Harlem Heat in WCW. I know they were in GFW, but the first few years in WCW was they were managed by Sensational Sherry. Lacey Evans makes her way to the announce table, putting a fan in Renee's face. Evans walks back to the stage to make her exit as Tamina and Nia come out for the next match. They trade looks and Jax ahead to the ring, as we're going to have Nia Jax versus Natalya. Who gives a fuck? This match didn't last very long. Beth Phoenix was in Natalya's corner, which is kind of obvious because they're going to continue this on. I guess they couldn't get Trish and Lita for WrestleMania, so it looks like we're leading to a triple threat match between the Boston Hug, the Tamina and Nia Jax, and the Divas of Doom. I'm just going to call them Divas of Doom. Yes, Divas is no longer a thing in WWE, but that was their name. That is what they're going to stick with. They are the Divas of Doom, Beth Phoenix and Natalya. Natalya did say, she mentions what happened at Fastlane with the WWE Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix and what happened with Ronda Rousey. She said, I'm looking back and seeing who can have my back. I thought Ronda Rousey had my back, but I guess I didn't know Ronda as well as I thought I did. But there was one person she trusts to have her back, my best friend, and out came Beth Phoenix. Like I said, this match didn't last very long. Phoenix hit the ring after Jax and drops Natalya in the corner and starts beating the piss out of her. Phoenix and Liz and Jax essentially retreating with a shoulder block. Beth Phoenix looks like she's been hitting the gym, man. She's got muscles on her muscles, man. She looks like she's in a lot better shape now than she was at the end of her WWE career. Phoenix calls out for Jax to bring in as Jax removes the snooker in the ramp. Phoenix checks on Natalya. Nia Jax and Tamina head to the back, and we cut to gorilla position, and we see WWE Tag Team Champions, Women's Tag Team Champions Sasha Banks and Bayley attacking Jax and Tamina as they return to the backstage area. Officials try to break this up. So again, it looks like we have a triple threat going. How is SmackDown going to get involved in this? Because the only things that we've seen for the Boston Hug Connection and the tag team titles right now is Raw and NXT. They haven't been on SmackDown yet. So I have no idea what's going on with that. We cut backstage, a little bit further backstage, and we see two SUVs pull up. Batista comes out of one, and a lot of security team comes up out of that one and the other one. Out comes Triple H in jeans, t-shirt, leather jacket, taped fist. He is ready for a fight. He paces around the ring, yelling for Batista to come out. Fans start chanting for the animal and his music hits. And I'm telling you right now, Batista's theme is one of my favorite themes. The one he has now, not his old one after he split from Evolution originally, but his I Walk Alone. Love that song. He's wearing a suit and he's got a microphone. Batista stops at the top of the ramp and stares down in the ring. Out comes his own personal security team. They line up the ramp as Batista takes the mic on top of the ramp. Triple H isn't impressed as he looks on for the ring. Batista takes his time to check his watch. Triple H asks if he's going to stand out there looking like a nose ring model, or is he going to come to the ring and face him like a man like he asked him to. Triple H says security must be here to protect him. Batista says no. Security is here because Batista isn't stupid, like Triple H assumes. Batista says he paid attention to learn from two of the dirtiest players in the game, Triple H and Ric Flair. Batista admits that security is here for his protection. He asks where Triple H's sledgehammer is, knowing it's always nearby, which I'm surprised he did not come out with his sledgehammer. That seemed like something he would do. Batista says he will do this on his terms, and now Triple H will give him what he wants. Triple H says he won't give Batista a damn thing. And why should he? Batista asks, how many times did Batista quit WWE? Twice? Twice. And just walked away. He asked Dave if he thinks he's entitled because he's some big movie star. Triple H says he's not giving Batista anything, so leaves him one option. If Batista won't come face him in the ring, he will leave the ring. And this one I thought was funny. And battle through the Guardians of the Independent scene, or whatever these security guys are. That's a big dig because usually the security guards that you see on WWE TV, if they have the black pants and black shirts on, black shoes, they are usually from a local independent promotion. Batista, he says, then he will beat Batista's ass on stage. Batista says no, but he will be long gone if you tried that anyway. Batista says they're doing this his way this time. But he admits that he did leave because he wanted to get far away from Triple H, who always held him down. Batista goes on to say that Triple H will give him what he wants, or he will continue to hurt Triple H's loved ones. I wish that would have been the end of the promo right there. He says that, drops the mic, turns around, and walks away. I would have loved that was it, because they could have did some promos with, like, I'm thinking back to when Undertaker and Ric Flair were setting up for a match at WrestleMania, and Ric Flair refused, and the Undertaker went to the development, the terrible development class up in Stanford. I think they had they have a warehouse where Dr. Tom Pritchard was doing a class, and David Flair was there. Undertaker goes in there and he pulls David Flair out and just starts beating the living fuck out of him. Just beat him down. Now, I would have loved for him to find somebody that Batista could actually do this to. This is one of the biggest problems with this, is that I don't think there's anybody outside of Ric Flair that they could have had Batista beat on that would have been like that. I know what they could have did. You could have had Shawn Michaels get beat up by Batista. I think X-Pac is working in the Performance Center now. You could have had X-Pac get beat up. Road Dogg's an agent backstage, so they could have had Road Dogg get beat up by Batista. That would have been great for like the next 4 weeks, and then on the go-home show, even if Batista doesn't show up, you could just show these video packages of Batista beating down on Shawn Michaels, X-Pac, if he's still there, if he's actually working at Performance Center. I saw him tweet something out about his first day in WWE Performance Center, beating down Road Dogg, beating down those three guys, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, if they wanted to do that too, people that are in the clique. That would have been great television. And it's just Triple H getting more and more frustrated, and we get to the go-home show. Batista comes back and says, give me what you want, what I want. You save Shawn Michaels for last. Because that's Triple H's like best friend. You save Shawn Michaels for last. Triple H is out in the ring asking for Dave to come out. You see Dave pulling Shawn Michaels, like, beaten down body out to the entranceway, and says, you give me what I want, or I'm going to destroy your best friend. And then Triple H makes the match that he made tonight. It honestly felt like tonight was a little anticlimactic for the storyline, that we already had the match. Let me see. Triple H fires back again, says he's not giving Batista anything. Triple H wants Batista to come to the ring to fight now. Batista says it's killing Triple H. He wants to hurt Batista so bad and he's not in control. Batista repeats, give me what I want, several times. He's also repeating his other lines. Batista finally says he wants Triple H at WrestleMania 35. And then Triple H finally accepts the challenge. Batista thanks Triple H, says this is all he wanted. One last match to end his career on his terms. And to end Triple H's career on his terms. Batista says he will see Triple H at WrestleMania. He goes to leave and Triple H stops him and says, he says he will see Triple H at WrestleMania. Triple H says Batista better dig deep down and find whatever scraps is left of the animal Hollywood. Because when they get to WrestleMania, it might be Batista's terms, but the match will be on Triple H's. Triple H says there will be no rules, no restrictions, no laws. It will be no holds barred. Batista stares down and drops the mic and heads to the back as Triple H music hits. Honestly, you expected it to be a one-on-one match, a singles match? No, Triple H is too old to be having those type of matches. Dave's about that time too. So, are we going to see Triple H's last match in WWE as a in-ring competitor? I honestly hope so. I hope this is a career ender for both of these guys. No holds barred, there you go. But I swear, you have 4 weeks left. You've been doing a piss poor job at building to WrestleMania. You could have just had him say, I'm going to continue to hurt the ones that you love, or your loved ones. Drop the mic, turn around, and leave. And we don't know what hell he means by that. We go to next week, and Shawn Michaels, like I said, I'll leave Shawn Michaels for last. We have a video for Triple H show, or like like earlier today, Batista sent out this disturbing video, and it'd be like X-Pac or Road Dogg or Scott Hall or Kevin Nash. Billy Gunn's working with AEW, so he's kind of out of the picture. But one of those guys being beat down by Batista, and he's like, honey, you're going to give me what I want, or I'm going to take out more, like, I'm going to continue to do this. And then you get to next week, and then we have another, like, when we get to the go-home show, as I said earlier, you have Triple H incensed, pissed off, once they hear tonight in that city. You see Batista, his music hits, he comes out, but he has somebody with him. He's dragging Shawn Michaels, and he says, "You either give me what I want, or I will powerbomb him off of this ramp right here." And then that's when the match gets set up, no holds barred, and we would have a match at WrestleMania. It just feels like they could have got a little bit more out of this before the match was signed or announced. Let me know in the comment section below what you think they should have did, because quite honestly, I think they rushed it. It might be because they can't get Batista back onto Raw until either the go-home show, or we won't see Batista back until, on anything until WrestleMania. I could be wrong. But I think that would have been a better way to do this. But what do I know? I just sit here and talk about wrestling, and I am not an expert at all. Out comes Hall of Famer Kurt Angle in his hometown, and when they said that he's going to be talking about his future, they showed a picture of him in a suit. He comes out in his wrestling gear, hands is taped, and he has a t-shirt on. So I was like, please tell me we're not getting a match again with Kurt Angle tonight. And that's what happened after his promo. Angle talks about leaving Pittsburgh more than 20 years ago. 23, I believe, is what he said. He defeated just about every legend and Hall of Famer in the business. Had to offer, but no matter where he went, he's considered Pittsburgh his hometown, which is why he saved this announcement for tonight. Angle announces that he will compete in his farewell match at WrestleMania. Angle thanked everyone he has shared a locker room with, and all the fans. Angle goes on to thank, and a thank you Kurt chant starts up. Angle said it's only right that he has one last match in his hometown, then it's on to WrestleMania. Out comes Apollo Crews. Really short match here. Angle ends up winning this match. Angle fights up and out of a hole now. Crews fights back, and they trade shots in the middle of the ring. Angle with 3 straight German suplexes to Crews. Crews still kicks out at 2. Angle's reach for the Angle slam, but Crews blocks it. Crews comes back with an enziguri and a standing moonsault for a close 2. Crews goes up to the top for a frog splash, but Angle moves out of the way, hits the Angle slam for the 1, 2, 3. After the match, Kurt Angle stands tall. He and Apollo Crews have a nice little embrace, because I guess Apollo Crews sees Kurt Angle as a hero to him. He grew up watching Kurt Angle. So nice little moment right there. Kurt Angle, I do not want to. This is a farewell tour. I don't want to see Kurt Angle wrestling in Chicago, where they're at in the next 3 weeks. I don't want to see Kurt Angle wrestling every single time. Leave it for WrestleMania. We've already seen Kurt Angle enough. They did not announce who he's going to wrestle at WrestleMania. There was no hint at it, no attack from anybody, no nothing. So I have no fucking clue who he's going to be wrestling. A lot of people are saying John Cena, and that could be the case, but then there's also the case that John Cena might be facing Samoa Joe to give Samoa Joe a big rub as United States champion. Either way you have it, there you go. Roman Reigns backstage preparing for the main event. He actually has a new chest plate on it. He has his Roman Reigns symbol, but with the cross on the bottom, like the overlapping things on the bottom, like his t-shirt was. Yeah, because WWE hasn't exploited his cancer enough. We come out and Roman Reigns hits for his first single match. Roman comes out, his music hits. It wasn't much, but I heard boos. There weren't many, because as soon as you heard boos, you have this guy as over as you can get him. It took cancer, but I'm not saying it was whatever way it works. He is cheered majority. He's like now. Why are you even if it's a little bit of booze? Why are you stifling the crowd's volume? For whatever reason, Kevin Dunn decided we're going to pull the volume down Even though this guy's getting 95% cheers right now. It's not 100. It has never been 100, and it will never be 100. Even when he came back, the night he came back, there was still a few boos, but they were overshadowed by all the cheers that he got. This guy will never be 100% loved by the community. It's just not possible. And we're like, oh. It was like 10:30 when he came out, and I'm like, we're gonna have a 30-minute match between Baron Corbin and Roman Reigns. Oh, you want to kill his cheering? If you want to kill the momentum of Roman Reigns, this would be the way to do it. A 30-minute bore fest with Baron Corbin. Thankfully, that didn't happen because Drew McIntyre, out of nowhere, just blindsides Roman Reigns, attacks him, talks some trash. Drew drives Reigns into the ring post, which I wish that spot would die. Reigns fights back on the floor. McIntyre levels Reigns with a big claymore. Drew taunts Reigns and tells him to fight back. Drew waits for Reigns to get back up. Delivers another claymore, sending Reigns face first into the ring post. Drew promises Reigns that this is just the beginning. Fans boo McIntyre. It was 50-50 actually. Officials and medics come to tend to Reigns at ringside, and he gets to his feet. Seth Rollins comes down to check on Reigns. Reigns assures everyone he's alright. He just has a small headache. Rollins and Reigns walk up the ramp together as the fans cheer Reigns on. We go to replays for the attack, and Rollins and Reigns head to the back room. We go to commercial. Why did this happen? I don't fucking know. First off, if the guy's legitimately, if something went wrong, or he can't, or they had to write him off for whatever reason, that would make sense why they did this. If they're doing this to get Roman Reigns sympathy, why? The guy just got back from 4 months of dealing with leukemia. Why the fuck would any of all people to need sympathy, why the fuck would you want to give Roman Reigns sympathy? They already have the fans. For 95% of the fans are on Roman Reigns' side. Why would you do this? The only thing I can think of, because it's a concussion angle, is Roman Reigns is either injured or Roman Reigns did way too much last night that he's not supposed to be wrestling. I don't know what it is. Hopefully we'll have some news. Maybe Dave or any of those guys, like Brian Alvarez or somebody, will have an answer. I don't have a fucking clue. But this made no goddamn sense. We come back from break, and Dean Ambrose joins Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, encourage Roman to go to the trainer's room to get checked out. Roman and Seth go into the trainer's room. Dean turns around and runs into Triple H. And he wants a fight Drew McIntyre tonight. He wants a Falls Count Anywhere match. Triple H says, hell yeah, you're on, and the match is made. Dean Ambrose versus Drew McIntyre Falls Count Anywhere was right away. One positive of this match is I'm pretty fucking sure these guys did not go into the ring one bit. Dean came out for the match, and he went into the ring, but he ran out, and as soon as the bell rang, they fought everywhere. One of my biggest gripes about this match is, though, they went to the concourse, they went to the concession stand, and a concession stand, or a makeshift concession stand, and a souvenir table, and that was all during the commercial break. We didn't get to see that shit live. I'm like, what the fuck? How are you going to have that on a commercial break? That's the best part of the match. These two beat the living piss out of each other. Let's see here. The match, they brawled up towards up where the Shield would usually come out, all the way down around the ring, all the way out by the announce table, and that's where the match concluded. As McIntyre goes into the production case, then brawls over to the announce table. Ambrose rolls Drew up for a 2 count. Drew mounts Ambrose on the stage with lefts and rights. Ambrose gets Drew on top of the announce table with a slide suplex. Ambrose mounts Drew on top of the table on lows with strikes. Ambrose stands up on top of the announce table and waits, but Drew nails a low blow. Then a cheap shot to the eye with a pencil. Renee can't believe it. Drew then launches Ambrose like a dart into the LED board. Drew scoops Ambrose again and launches him into the LED board. Drew with a 2 count on the stage. Ambrose swings wild as Drew taunts him some more. Drew places Ambrose's neck and upper body into a piece of railing. Drew backs up and runs at the railing, connecting with a big claymore. This knocks Ambrose and the railing off the stage. Drew covers for the 1, 2, 3. After the match, Drew stands tall as his music hits. Ambrose is laid out next to the stage. As the medics check on him, we go to replays. Drew stands on top of the announce table and poses, then points at the WrestleMania 35 banner hanging over the ring. Ambrose ends up getting to his feet and moving towards Drew, but Drew delivers another Claymore kick. Drew marches to the ring as officials check on Ambrose as Raw goes off the air. We are 27 nights from WrestleMania. 27 nights from WrestleMania, and we still only have 3 matches. Now, I'm sure tomorrow or tonight, when you guys see this, that Vince McMahon is going to address what happened at this past Sunday's pay-per-view, and Shane is going to address what happened with him and The Miz. So I imagine we'll have at least 5 matches coming out of SmackDown tomorrow night. This show was very weak. This show should have did a lot more building towards WrestleMania. Finn Balor should have not lost the Intercontinental title. The only reason I see this happening is that somehow, some way, he gets into contention again in the next 3 weeks, and we finally see the Demon for the first time since August at WrestleMania, and he takes the title off of Bobby Lashley, and Bobby Lashley goes to SmackDown. They should have did. It's just, I don't get what WWE is doing. It feels like Vince McMahon is on the phone. Like these meetings that they have that we talked about on Saturday, that Vince McMahon is holding these people up, the creative up, to do their meetings for Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live, and they're staying until like 3 o'clock in the morning. It feels like he's on the phone with Vince Russo getting ideas of how to fuck up Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live even more. This show should have been better. We are 4 weeks out from WrestleMania, 27 nights, and we only still have 3 matches. This is bad. This is just terrible. They had more build 4 weeks out to WrestleMania at WrestleMania 32, and half the fucking roster was injured that year. Half the roster was injured, and they had more matches and more planned for that show than they do now. And that was 3 years ago. Come on. We have three more Monday Night Raws, and we have 3 matches, and only 2 are representing Raw. Batista vs. Triple H is a Legends match. It's not a Monday Night Raw match. Come on. Well, we have 4. I'm sorry. We do have the Kurt Angle retirement farewell match, but we don't have an opponent, so I'm not counting it yet. We have 3 confirmed matches with 3 opponents. With 3, it's just, I don't know. WWE's we have 3 Raws left, 4 SmackDowns. WWE's got to get their shit together. This is like, of course, this has been the last few years. We have a shitty WrestleMania build, and then WrestleMania is either shit or okay. It's never good. Why can't we get a great build? WWE throwing out these twists and turns that are unfucking necessary. Dana Brooke had no business coming out and to confront Ronda Rousey, white knighting for WWE and WWE Universe and the Raw Women's Division. I don't know what WWE is going to do next week. It's just, this is going to be some of the most, and again, I'm just going to say it. The Batista and Triple H promo should have ended with, you don't give me what I want, I'm going to continue to hurt the ones you love. Drop the mic, walk away, and then you could have did 3 video promos on Instagram, Twitter, or wherever, Batista, saying, beating down on, X-Pac, or Kevin Nash, Shawn, any of the members of the Clique. Any of the members of the Clique or DX, beat them down, send the video to WWE, post it on Monday, just to get in Triple H. They could have did that, but they didn't. They just gave you the match announcement tonight, and I think it was just a little too early. Let me know below what you guys think. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitter at TheFrance. Find me on twitch.tv/TheFrance08. I will see you guys tomorrow for SmackDown Live, or tonight for SmackDown Live, because it is 12:08 a.m. as I'm finishing this up. I will see you guys tonight for SmackDown Live, as we will find out what is going to happen to the WWE Championship and Kofi Kingston going into WrestleMania. And we're going to get the match before Shane and The Miz going into WrestleMania. God, I can't wait to hear what Shane McMahon's explanation is, because I'm sure that's going to be the only interesting part of this entire feud. Until then, my name is The Franz, and you guys have a good one.